we have discussed about the dicot embryo and monocot embryo. We have seen the development of both the types of embryos. Today we will talk about seed. The study of seed is known as spermology. Study of seed is known as spermology. Spermology. So today we are going to talk about seeds. Seed is a fertilized ovule and it is the final product of sexual reproduction in the angiosperms. A typical seed consists of the seed course, one or two cotyledons and the embryonal axis. During the development of embryo sac, we saw the two integuments. The outer layer of the seed develops into testa. Outer layer means the first integument. The second integument develops into tegmen, which is fused with the testa. Testa is a hard covering. The micropyle remains as a small opening on the seed coat. The micropyle helps in the absorption of water during the germination of the seed. And of course, there are cotyledons, one or two cotyledons, which act as a reserve food for the germinating plant. Now coming back to the seed, we all know seed is of two types, monocot or dicot. Both monocot and dicot seeds can be endospermic or non-endospermic. So seed can be of two types. This is endospermic or non-endospermic. Endospermic seed is also known as albuminous seed. The non-endospermic seed is known as X-albuminous seed. In our earlier studies, we have seen that major portion of the endosperm or whole of the endosperm is being utilized by the developing embryo. But in some seeds, some portion of the endosperm, it persists. It remains with the developed seed. So that type of seed is known as endospermic seed. In the seeds in which the whole of the endosperm is utilized by the developing embryo, that is known as non-endospermic or X-albuminous seed. Example of endospermic or albuminous seeds we can take as wheat is there, rice, maize, castor is also there. And in non-endospermic seeds, we can take pulses, pea, beans or gram. If we recall, there is one more type of seed which is known as perispermic seed. In perispermic seeds, some portion of the nucellus persist along with the development of the endosperm. So that type of seed is known as perispermic seed or perisperm. Examples are beetroot, then we have got black pepper, they are perispermic. As the seed matures or ripens, the water content in it decreases. The metabolic activity of the embryo also slows down. Some of the seeds, they go for dormant phase or undergo dormancy. And some seeds, if you have seen in pea, gram, they germinate. The viability period of the seeds varies with different species. Some of the seeds are alive or viable only for few months. Other seeds can be viable for many thousands of years. We have the example of Lupinus articus, which was found viable after a record period of 10,000 years. It was excavated from the Arctic tundras. Another example, Phoenix dactylifera, which was excavated from the palace of King Herod near the Mediterranean Sea. It was found viable after 2000 years of dormancy. We have seen the types of seeds. There are basically two types of seeds, albuminous and ex-albuminous or non-albuminous. The viability of seeds, some seeds, they are viable for a very long time, and some seeds, they are alive for only a short time, say few months. Now we come to fruits. Fruits are actually the ripened ovary, a developed ovary. As the seed matures, it stimulates the walls of the ovary to enlarge. It releases some hormones like cytokinin, which stimulates the walls of the ovary to enlarge, and the ovary develops into fruit. We have got two kinds of fruits, the true fruit and the false fruit. A fruit which develops from the ovary is known as true fruit. Any example we can take, like guava is there, or a fruit which develops from any other part other than the ovary, like the thalamus, then it is called a false fruit. We have the example of apple, strawberry. So fruits are of basically two types. This is true fruit and false fruit. Then one more type of fruit we can say is parthenocarpic fruit. Parthenocarpic fruit. So true fruit which develops from the ovary is known as true fruit. So any example we can give, guava is there, mango is there. So true fruit can again be divided into simple fruit, the simple fruit which develops from a single ovary of a single flower is known as simple fruit. So it develops from a single ovary of a single flower. Then we have the multiple fruit. The multiple fruit, it develops from the whole inflorescence. Like we have got the mulberry. Example is mulberry. Another type we have got is aggregate fruit. The aggregate fruit, It develops from the multicarpellary gynoecium. The whole pistil is fused together. Example, you can have raspberries. False fruit, as said earlier, it develops from any part of the flower, whether it is thalamus or the receptacles. So it is known as false fruit. Other than the ovary, ovary does not develop. Example we have got is apple, which develops from the thalamus. The edible portion of the apple is actually the thalamus. Then we have the cashew nut. Then we have got the cashew apple. Then we have got strawberry also. Now coming to parthenocarpic fruit. The fruit which develops without fertilization is known as parthenocarpic fruit. The seeds are not viable in parthenocarpic fruits. Examples we have is banana. The best example is banana. We have seen different kinds of fruits. Now seeds are embedded inside the fruits or the ovary. A fruit can have a single ovule, or it can have many ovules. Now dispersal of the fruits and the seeds are made by different agencies. Water can be the agency, air, animals or birds can also be the agencies of dispersal of fruits and seeds. Now what are the advantages of fruits and seeds? They are of immense importance. Seeds are the reproductive units to continue the races. In angiospermic seeds, sexual reproduction takes place. So it means variation can also take place in angiospermic seeds. Seeds have modified different strategies for dispersal. They have adapted different strategies for their own dispersal. Seeds act as a reserve food for the growing embryo. It also protects the growing embryo. Seeds provide food to the embryo also and for mankind also, for the all types of animals and human beings. Because the seeds undergo dormancy, they can be kept alive, viable for many years. Seeds are of immense importance to agriculture. It helps the farmers to raise the crops. In this class, we have studied about the seeds, their types. We have also studied about the fruits and their types. Important is a false fruit and a true fruit. What is the difference between a false fruit and a true fruit?